Hey, thanks for joining me today. Well, we are going to continue talking about portable power solutions. You need something bigger. You're talking about one of these big boys right here. And I say big boys, it's just not that big, but it is bigger than that Opus 600 that you saw earlier. So why would you need a bigger battery bank? Well, that Opus 600, it would probably not power a coffee machine. I didn't even try because I don't think it would have, whereas this guy right here will. Now then, let's talk about why you would even need one of these. Well, you know, in an RV, if you don't have a large lithium power bank like I do, which I have the Lithionics 315 amp hour battery, I have a 3000 watt inverter. Basically, I can do everything in my coach, even run the air conditioner off of that thing, right? But a lot of people don't have that. They may have AGM batteries or lead acid batteries, something that is just not set up to run a coach really off grid. Really just there in an emergency case. It's really, your RV at that point is just meant to be plugged into a power pole. Well, I don't believe in that. I don't believe you should be handcuffed to a power pole. So get any solution that you can in order to break away from an RV park, right? Well, this guy right here is going to help with that. Now, this is the OKMO 1000. Now, disclaimer, they did send it to me for free. However, I won't review something unless I use it and actually really like it. And so far, this thing has performed really, really well. Now then, I'm not going to go into all those technical details like Hobotech. If you want to see about how many amps it pulls, about all of the DC, all the amps it's going through, all of that, go over to Hobotech's channel. He does a much better job of this than I do. He's a genius. Love that channel, by the way. But as far as an everyday use, I'm just going to tell you about how I use it and if it works for me. So here in a second, I'm going to show you how. Did it do well with a toaster? Those pull some watts. Did it do well with a large Keurig coffee machine? Those things pull some watts. So there's lots of things you may want to do in your RV that this will allow you to do without having to deal with your AGM batteries, whether they're run down. Of course, with those guys, you can't run them down past 50% or you damage, ruining your batteries. And so if you have a CPAP machine, or if you run a furnace at night, or all kinds of things that can really suck the life out of your non-lithium batteries, then this may be a great solution for you. Again, 1,000 watt hours of power. I think it actually says 1,100 watt hours. I don't know if that is exactly correct. Again, Hobotech will answer that better than I will. But what I saw is that it does a great job of running those little higher power appliances. Usually a high power appliance is anything that is going to heat up, right? So inside it's got a 1,000 watt inverter, meaning it'll run 1,000 watts, no trouble at all. And it says it has a 3,000 watt surge. So that's a pretty good surge, right? So if you plug in a hairdryer or something like that and turn it on, that surge when it comes on, this thing says it can handle it. Am I gonna try it? No, I don't have a hairdryer on me. However, I do have a coffee machine and I do have a toaster. So let's go down real quick. I'm here at the Pagosa headquarters and I'm gonna go downstairs and I am going to try a toaster. And then I'm going to try a coffee machine and see how they do. Okay, here's the OKMO 1000. We're gonna see if it can power this toaster, which I'm almost certain it should. The inverter inside is big enough to power it. Now then, again, one of the things that I don't like about this is it just shows bars, it doesn't show a percentage. Whereas with that Opus one, it did show a percentage, which is much better. So anyway, so this says I have about 75%. So let's turn this on. We're gonna turn the AC output on, plug in. There we go, our AC out came on, showing that little pure sine wave inverter sign. So here we go. Powering up. Okay, so it's powering it pretty good. As you can see, it already dropped. So again, I had no idea how much power this had because it's the bar system instead of the percentage system, but it did drop a bar just immediately when I did. I looked on this toaster to see if it had a wattage. It did not. I'll look it up on the internet, maybe I can find it. I'm guessing probably 800-900, maybe even 1,000 watts was what a toaster is, I would imagine. But anyway, so it's powering it pretty good. It's a 5-bar system, so we're down to 3 bars, so 2 bars is gone.
Now they did not send me the solar panels for this yet. They were back ordered. So I'm gonna be very interested to see how long it takes to power this back up using just solar. Here in a minute, we will plug in using the supplied wall outlet to see how quickly we can get this charged back up. But so far, running this toaster, the fan's not on, nothing's on, so the inverter is running at least probably 800-900 watts, I would imagine. If you know what a toaster is, put that in the comments down below as well. But so far, so good. So coffee machines, toasters, all of those high-powered heating element type of appliances seem to work fine off of this 1,000 watt battery pack. Yay. All right, so the toaster passed with flying colors. Now, what about a large Keurig coffee machine? Now, this is larger than the coffee machine we carry in our RV. Our Keurig there is a Keurig Mini, I think, which is a lower wattage. This thing probably is going to be around the 1,200 or more watts, I would imagine. But this thing right here is a 1,000 watt inverter, but it has a 3,000 watt surge. Now, I'm not going to find anything. I don't have any heat guns or anything to be able to test that with. But we are going to test it with the Keurig, because at the end of the day, we want to know, is this going to power our coffee machines? If you have a CPAP machine, obviously you want to make sure that that can run on it. So this is going to be perfect whenever you are not around shore power and you want to make a cup of coffee in a Keurig machine. Will this thing allow you to do it? Well, let's find out. All right, so as you can see, not even a problem. The thing is running completely silent. The fans are not on, because a lot of times whenever you put a heavy load on, like a coffee machine or something on a smaller battery bank, you're going to hear those fans kick on to cool down that inverter, cool down, all of the systems inside the battery pack. But this OKMO 1000, it's not even breaking a sweat. So can you run a large Keurig on this thing? 100%. Very impressed.
Okay, as you saw, it passed with flying colors. Now then, with this guy right here, I'll tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. So what I do like about it, it has 3 AC outlets. That means you can plug in 3 things. Now, it can't be 3 toasters or 3 coffee machines. That would totally blow the inverter, would not allow you to do that. But you could plug in a fan, you could plug in, a computer, something like that is not super high wattage, right? That this thing is going to completely be able to handle. Then again, it's got some great USB. It's got a 60 watt power delivery, which means you can plug like a MacBook Pro into this thing, a USB Type-C. It also has a cigarette plug adapter type plug for 12 volt. And so you plug something into these 12 volt things, man, this thing is going to run a long time. In fact, I put a graphic up right here to show you exactly how long they say this thing can run those things. Now then, overall cost of this product. Now this is I don't necessarily want to say it's an off-brand, it's just not a really popular brand. So the really popular brands you've heard of probably are Jackery, Blue Eddy, things like that, right? Well, with those name brands comes a price premium generally, right? And so this thing is going to fall under that price as far as price per amp hour or kilowatt hour, whatever you want to say, right? So this thing is going to be cheaper for the power that you get. Now then, features and all of that thing, it's all going to be basically about the same thing. Now, the one thing that this doesn't have that I thought it did have with this flat top right here, I thought it might have wireless charging for your phone like my Blue Eddy does. I've got a Blue Eddy, I think it's a 70, something like that. And it does, this little thing here does wireless charging on top. Just set your phone down and it charges. It looks like it does. It's even kind of geared to look like that, but it does not, right? This also does not have any sort of a light to it like the Opus or like the Jackery. Some of those other brands have a light. This one does not. Not a huge deal, but I mean, having a built-in light to a built-in battery pack, boy, that means your light can last a long time in case of a power outage, which is another great use for these things. If your house is susceptible to power outages, right? That way you can plug in your, say, your Wi-Fi router or, you know, even a TV into this thing. It'll power it for a long time. So these are really good solutions for all sorts of things. But what I think is great for is if you don't have a big lithium power bank in your RV and you want to do more off-grid stuff, run a coffee machine, all those different kinds of things, you will be able to do that. Now then, how do you charge this thing and what are the charge times? I'll put that graphic up as well. But they said they are out of stock of the solar panels, so they did not send me a solar panel with this. They said they are going to send me one, so I'll make sure to update this video whenever they do. But there's 4 ways to charge. So, and the one thing I do like is look at this handy dandy little case they send you for your power brick. And so it's got your power brick in here where you can plug it into a wall. But this guy right here, I think for the money, I think it's a fantastic bargain. I'll put a link to how you can buy that down below because I do think this is a good solution for you. And so I'm looking forward to the solar panels on this thing. Again, the link will be down below, and when I get those solar panels in, if I find that those are worthy as well, I'll put a link to that as well in here. But overall, I think this is a great solution. So it's the OKMO 1000. They do have larger solutions too. I believe that they have a 2000 watt battery, which again, that's too big for me to carry around. I don't think I would want that in the first place. This 1000 seems to be a great size, so I don't think you can go wrong with it. But for that being said, OKMO, not too shabby. So anyway, that's it for this week, and we will see you next time.